Right. Good evening, everybody. This is a special meeting of the Underhill Conservation Commission. And tonight we're starting at 6:30 p.m. on February 15th, 2023. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:32 and welcome everyone. And perhaps go around the table because we have someone new joining us. Trinity. And so we'll go, why don't we go, Lori? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lori Graham. I'm Secretary Treasurer of the Underhill Conservation Commission.
I'm Trinity Schroeder. I'm visiting tonight and hoping we can maybe talk about monarchs at some point new to the area.
I'm Daphne Tanis, and I'm a member.
I'm Karen McKnight, and I'm Chair of the Conservation Commission. And let's see, on the remote, we have both Betsy Chapik and Amy Gallaudet. Betsy?
Hi, I'm Betsy Chapik, and I am assistant chair, I guess. Co-chair? Vice chair. And it's neat to know we have some monarch interest and that most of us are here.
And then Amy?
Hi, I'm Amy Gallaudet. Welcome, Trinity.
Thank you.
Okay, so then welcome to everybody. So welcome. I'm glad everybody's here. I'm not sure if Craig is going to be joining us or Pat, Rick, but we'll see. I'd like to make some adjustments to the agenda. And the one adjustment that I'd like to make is at the end on item number 6, town meeting planning. We should also talk about membership. We have 2 folks whose terms are up. And so I'd like to talk about that as well. So I guess I'll begin with a public comment. And I see that there are no members of the public except that you are. So if you'd like to comment, I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I'm here to be put on the spot. So
okay.
No, I'm relatively new to Underhill. My family and I moved here, I guess, about 2 years ago now, and we are living across from Mountain Road in the New Shepherd's Way development.
Oh,
nice. And upon moving in, we became aware that our property hosted multiple milkweed plants, and we took a crash course in monarchs and rearing monarchs and trying to save them as the excavator was coming to clear the land. So since then, we've been learning a lot, and my 9-year-old son primarily is very interested in nature and nature preservation. And so I, as we've gotten more and more into the monarch, just over 2 seasons, the monarch business, I don't know what to call it, we noticed that there was some funding, some ARPA funding available to Underhill, and I wrote 2 proposals for monarch. I guess you could call it land conservation, and one of them geared more towards the schools, and one of them geared more towards land preservation or conservation. I don't know what the right terminology is, so you all are here. Maybe you can help me with that. And I'm hoping that I can get a few questions answered tonight while I'm here from all of you experts, and just also find out what your thoughts are on my proposals, and any feedback would be just most welcome. So that's it.
Yeah, so welcome. Well, why don't we do the questions at the end?
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have to leave early.
Oh, okay. So what are the questions then? Why don't we do them right now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to pull them up on my phone. I have them right here. So just in a nutshell, one of the proposals for the land preservation of monarchs has to do with looking at land that's already hosting monarchs in the Underhill Jericho area. And I named a few pieces of land that I'm familiar with. One is the Casey's Hill, Tomasi Meadow area. One is the New Road meadow that's kind of, I don't know what the right name for that spot is, but if you go up the hill and there's that meadow with a picnic table and it looks out.
That's the conservation, Cranebrook.
Cranebrook Conservation.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. And I wrote that down, but it escaped me. And then another spot that has a lot of milkweed is the Mills Brook, or the Mills Riverside. One of the fields out over by where the dogs have their free run area. And so the basic idea is really not to change anything about those spots, but just to put up signage, like put up some kiosks that raise awareness of the monarch. And I know most people already know that the monarch is listed as endangered and it's struggling, and the habitat, because of habitat loss, climate change, insecticide, herbicide, all of the. But it is so interesting that we live right here in Underhill, where the super monarchs are migrating all the way down to Mexico, and it's such a fascinating story, right?
Right.
And so the idea is just to raise awareness that this is happening here. This is where the monarchs live and breed and travel through, and if possible, work with whoever is in charge of the mowing so that the mowing schedules coincide with the monarch migration and reproduction. I've observed over the last 2 summers that there are fields that are getting mowed right when the caterpillars are in the in the chrysalis phase, and it's always a little bit tragic to see that. I also wrote a proposal related to the schools receiving waste stations, otherwise known as, like butterfly gardens, and equipment, so that each teacher in Underhill, from preschool to high school, has the ability to raise monarchs, test them for OE, tag them and release them at the school. But that's a little bit. So, but the questions I had tonight are related more towards these pieces of land, and I have 3 questions that came back from the committee, from the ARPA committee, and I'd just like to read them to you if you don't mind, and maybe you all have some input for me.
Okay.
I didn't bring back my glasses, sorry. Let me try and read these. So the question is, who is responsible for determining the land best suited for monarch preservation? So obviously not the full piece of land like Tomasi Meadow, Casey's Hill would be preserved, but parcels of that would be maybe set aside for.
So your question is, who's responsible for the land? So if we wanted to set aside a particular area,
Yeah.
how would we do that?
And who would be responsible for determining which land is best suited for monarch preservation? So who would it be? The conservation committee? Is it me as a random person saying I think this is the best area? Like, who would be responsible? I'd like to say the conservation commission would be responsible, but I don't know your interest in joining in this little adventure I'm on.
Yeah. I think that for some of the properties, it is the Conservation Commission. I mean, for Cranebrook Conservation
I think also,
Area.
when you think about mowing,
Yeah.
we have input, and it's our responsibility as members of the Conservation Commission to make these recommendations to the town and the road crew and the, that's part of under our purview, if you want to say that.
Okay.
And there's and for the Tomasi Meadow, there is a draft management plan for that has not been, there's a ad hoc committee that is supposed to be meeting to give feedback to the town on that draft management plan. But I know that the mowing of that meadow is, there's very heated discussion about mowing it or not,
Okay.
at all.
Yeah, and I
because-
don't,
yeah,
my
Yeah.
wish is not to like stir
Yeah.
a pot
No.
or, cause
Yeah.
anybody. I'm just putting these ideas out here and I
Absolutely.
hope you will guide me in the right direction is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your ideas, I believe, are fantastic. In fact, when I first started, and I've been here 15, 16 years now, and when I first became aware of the monarchs, I used to cut down and mow all the milkweed. We don't do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
We let
Yeah.
it grow,
Yeah.
and I think it's fantastic. I love your
Great,
ideas,
yeah,
and
great.
and you, I think you would be a great purveyor, great person to lead
Yeah.
and join the Underhill Conservation with that in mind.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
love to. I mean,
Yeah.
I have lots of ideas.
Well,
Ideas.
you still have two more questions,
I have
right,
two more
from
questions,
the ARPA
yes.
group, yes.
So, just so that I'm clear on the first question, would the Conservation Commission, do you feel that is within your jurisdiction to designate which parcels of the land that I've mentioned, you would say, yes, this is a good spot to designate for?
For the
for-
Crane Brook area, definitely us.
We
For
need
the Tomasi Meadow, it's going to probably be a triumphant of, I think that the rec committee and there are some private people that are not on any commission at the moment, but they wanted to give feedback to the town about mowing or not mowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about the Mills Riverside Park? There's a large meadow there full of milkweed.
And that would be probably
they have a
the
group.
Jericho Underhill Land Trust,
Right.
and that would be. I'll send you the name of the person to talk to.
Okay.
Okay. For that.
John Coyer is the stewardship person with the Jericho Underhill Land Trust.
Oh, okay. John Coyer. So that's
Okay.
Koier.
ER.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that's for Mills Riverside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then, so the next question is, who is responsible for coordinating with town officials regarding seasonal fluctuate? So I said mowing schedule might depend seasonally. Like, I don't think you can just say every, June mow or every May mow and then don't mow again until October. Like, I think it may fluctuate. So then the question is, who is responsible for coordinating with town officials regarding seasonal fluctuations in the mowing brush hogging schedule? Would it be these parties again that you just mentioned, or would it be?
Well, not the Mills Riverside, not that park, because that's in Jericho,
Yeah.
and that's also they sort of run their own business.
Okay.
Probably us with the rec committee, because
Okay.
but the select board have their hands in it too about mowing and who's going to do the mowing, and whether it's going to be mowed at all, except for maybe in November, or you know what I mean. So those are questions that we can't answer right at the moment, but
Okay.
yeah.
But it would be you guys with the rec committee.
And Brad, who's the town administrator, probably part of that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Anton Kelsey
Yeah.
was the person
He's-
kind of who reached out to the mower last year.
Yeah.
I remember he was kind of taking
He's
on
head of
the
the
perimeter trail.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Anton Kelsey.
Yeah.
Casey.
Okay.
Okay.
The next question is, does designating land in Underhill as a preserved monarch habitat carry any legal weight? Is this a designation that could conflict with current or future zoning practices? And I thought about what word to use for this, and I did some preliminary research on habitat versus, preservation versus sanctuary versus whatever. I mean, there are a million words to choose, and I don't really know the right word, so I landed with preservation. But I'm open to altering the wording if it causes trouble for anybody, really. So, I mean, I just want to raise awareness that monarchs live here, and this is monarch habitat.
I think
So-
preservation is a great word because what does that mean? How do we designate that area as preservation area? Who's responsible for that particular parcel or piece? And
I think around mowing schedules, what we want to aim for, especially speaking for the Crane Brook Conservation District, is setting up a mowing schedule that works for multiple species.
right.
Our responsibility at Crane Brook is um, habitat, for one
Mhm.
thing. So we would want to look at what ground nesting birds need, what the monarchs need, uh, and think about timing for more than one species.
Right.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So I guess I don't know, is the word preservation, does anyone know, does that carry a legally binding, how did he phrase it? Legal weight?
Preservation?
Or should I ask that question like at Fish and Wildlife, or like, do we know? Is that an appropriate word to be using?
In general, in the natural resource arena, preservation means no use. So recreation might be restricted, for example, and many other more impactful activities, of course.
So maybe it's not the right word. I don't want to restrict people from being in those spots, to observe and.
Conservation implies multiple use.
Well, I'm just thinking so say we had that meadow in the conservation district there in Crane Brook.
Sure.
And we have a perimeter trail in the summer that goes around the border of it. And then I'm picturing the middle part, which used to be the old town dump and does have the white things coming out of it. If there was a sign that said that inner part was just monarch habitat, and had that educational informative sign just saying
Sort of
hey,
off
everyone,
limits.
you're in monarch habitat. What do
Yeah.
you look for to find
Yeah.
your chrysalis? And I think the meadow itself would kind of lend itself to people not walking right through it, especially if there was the perimeter trail and some information. Is that kind of what you're picturing? Having a designated, however much room you picture, or?
I think at Crane Brook, that's exactly what I would envision is it's already there, right? You're just putting a sign in that says, this is habitat this is for monarchs live. But in other areas, maybe it's not as clear, like Casey's Hill. I wouldn't want to rope anyone off and say, you can't walk. I think it's nice to have those mode walking trails so people can go around and they can observe, clumps here and there.
Yeah.
And at Mills Riverside, I think it's nice to have a mode perimeter to walk around and observe what's there and be looking for certain things. I guess you're right. I wouldn't want people in my mind, I wouldn't people just walking through these habitats and destroying it, but walking around in a mode footpath to observe. And I mean, this may be heresy, but I would even encourage people to take eggs and monarchs with them, because I think you grow, I don't know who I'm offending when I say this, but I think you grow awareness when people have access to these little creatures and can take it home and experience the wonder themselves of raising monarchs.
So maybe we can discuss this further, but we need to have that, then our reinvigorating the Conservation Commission video. So this may lead us right into that. But I think that,
Okay, so let me just, so I'm clear, the word preservation, we're not, probably would need to move it to something like conservation, because I think
Because
Amy,
it'd
you
be
said that has
multi-use.
a more multiple use implication. Okay.
I think
And do I need to is there any legal entity I need to get blessing on the verbiage, or is that pretty much?
I think we need to discuss that further in
Discuss
another,
further?
another session.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so moving on to the next agenda item, the Conservation Commission Handbook, and which we all have. We didn't. Can you share yours? Or-
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
can
okay.
share it.
Yeah. Betsy, what did you want to note about the handbook? We
Okay,
all
so
have a copy.
here's my thought with that, and I wonder, it's quite lengthy, and there are areas that would pertain to us that would be helpful. I wondered if we could divide it up in chapters,
Right.
and everyone take a chapter or two to outline, highlight, or just once again jot down ideas that,
Betsy, I
yeah,
went to the handbook and I tabbed it for myself because there's no pages on this, right? I think
numbers, you
your
mean.
copy, yeah. So anyways, I went through it and the first 3 chapters are just administration and how do you form a conservation
Which
and
I
all
think,
that.
are somewhat important, like
Oh, you know,
chapter
What?
3, nuts and bolts.
because I thought like chapter 4, 5, 6, and 7
Mm-hmm.
were the ones that we might divvy up.
All right. Well, why don't we all read 1 through
I don't know.
3?
Has anybody else looked at it?
Well, I agree with you, Daph. I mean, chapter 3 is basically running a meeting and
Right.
talking about open meeting laws and attendance and quorum, and I think we sort of do that.
Well,
And so, but
Yeah.
well, let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and read and take notes on 1 through 3 anyway.
okay,
You
And
are
then
okay.
we have 4, 5, 6, and 7.
all right. I could do.
I'll
Unless
do
Laura,
4.
Amy will do 4.
okay,
I'll take any, no preference.
okay,
I've
I'll
got it
take
online.
6.
I can take 5.
okay. So that
4.
makes 7.
I'll take 7.
I can take. Well, somebody's got a couple. Who's taking?
I'm going to take 4.
Right.
Okay.
Who is?
And
Betsy.
Betsy.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing 1 through 3.
I
Okay.
am doing that too.
Okay.
I'm
All
really, I have so much time on my hands. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I would never admit that.
I need some new reading material.
It's hard to go to sleep at night.
Okay. Betsy's chapters 1 through 4. Amy is doing
5.
5.
5.
Is it 5? Okay. All right.
Daff is 6.
Amy. 6 is Daphne.
Yep.
So, okay. What do you want me to do then? If Laurie's doing 7.
Well, I think this one would be good for you, how to pay for conservation. And this is all about the grants. I don't know if you looked at this before, but there's a great section in here about how to apply and what grants are available. And a lot of that's in 7.
Okay.
That'd be good for you, don't you think?
Well, I could do it if Laurie wants to do it.
Unless
Yeah.
Lori wants to do it, yeah.
I mean, that's okay. Laurie can do
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lori, you haven't
Well,
done
and
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do
Yeah, we
7.
can,
split them too,
yeah, we
Because
can,
4 seems like maybe the most, I feel like 4 might be the most important to us as a group
Mhm.
in general.
okay.
Setting
Yeah.
goals, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
feel like if more of us read 4,
Okay.
that'd be good too. So
Yeah.
I'll do like a little 4-7 combo. How's that?
Okay. All right.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
All right,
You want a
so,
copy of this? You should have, if you're gonna become a member, yeah.
all
So we
right.
need to get a copy for Trinity.
Did Sherry make copies, like hard copies, or?
Well, we can make one right
No,
now.
no, I have 2 extra copies.
Okay, well, one would be for Craig.
Craig said he didn't need a hard copy. I saw Pat yesterday. He said he had a copy. So there are 2 that I could leave at town hall for. There was a fellow maybe going to join us from last month.
Yeah.
Yes, he is not. He was promoted in his job and his new work hours are from 10 to 7 weekdays.
Okay.
So, yeah, but he will participate in activities.
Okay. And was Trinity mostly thinking about the Monarchs? So are we
All right.
talking about the educational programs?
Yes, we are.
Great.
Okay.
And Amy has sent a note saying she's going to walk over here. But we did figure out what was happening with our with everything, and we were the problem. We were actually offline, so
Oh.
you guys were still on, but we weren't. So, we're there with our technical expertise. And here comes Amy.
It's March 23rd, right?
Yes. Hello.
Right
I know. Yeah.
Oh, I like your, good idea.
Thank you first.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, education.
So we have March 23rd. What's her name?
She goes by Allie
Kasiba. Allie.
And I heard from another Conservation Commission member up in Crosbury that she's great as a presenter.
Good. Is she going to physically be here, or she will be? Okay.
Excellent.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right. Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so I'm found out yet what she might need around presentation.
Like a screen or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. What I feel like I need at this point is just some collective ideas about what we think people will want to hear from her. Because she can talk about a lot of things. And what I asked her for initially is about what kinds of vegetation, forests in particular, store carbon at different rates,
Oh, really?
and for a better understanding of what it means for plants to absorb carbon dioxide as a way to mitigate global carbon pollution. What her job involves, because she was hired specifically by Extension to work on what they're calling carbon forest management.
Mhm.
Oh, so she can speak to that program, kind of.
Family car, yes, I hope so. And so I'd like to be able to promote it in a way that will be inviting and engaging. It's not as I don't know, attractive, on the surface as like bobcats or beavers. But,
It's really
But-
interesting though.
But if,
but I think people might want to know, what can I do if I own 5, 10, 20, 50 acres of forest?
Right?
What do you all think about questions people might bring?
I think they might ask something about, well, how does carbon really affect climate change? You know what I mean? We know that there's climate change, but having
How does it
forests to
affect?
absorb that carbon, does that matter?
Yeah,
Does that
it's
impact
locally.
it?
To what extent can forests slow global warming?
Yeah.
Can it help to stop global warming? Can it help to reverse it?
Mhm.
Can forest reverse? Okay.
And a lot of people are familiar with the idea that you can
Can you offset?
you can pay the offset idea. You can pay extra for your airplane ticket, and they'll funnel the money to tree planting. So I would love to hear from her about that whole concept as a global warming strategy.
Yeah.
I
So
think what would be helpful also I'd like to get the planning commission to come, because for the planning commission to understand, and other groups, I'm not just planning commission, but for them to understand how valuable our forests are in Underhill. I mean, I think
we have a lot of forest, but it's going quick.
well, we have a lot of forests, and maybe 75% of Underhill. I don't know what the percentage is, but that and their role. What is their role, and why is that valuable to us as a community?
The planning commission.
Well, no, to us as a community, but it'd be nice for some of the folks in the planning commission to hear that, because they're the ones that work on planning and zoning. They, the Development Review Board only acts on what the Planning Commission has presented to the town that the town has then voted on.
Right.
So we need to understand what kind of forests are really
Right.
valuable around this carbon storage strategy. How big a piece of forest, what kind of forest, young forest, old forest.
Species.
Is it, do we have research about species? Yeah, so maybe she could report out on some of the research around this whole idea. What do you think? The basic science around carbon cycle.
Yeah.
I think what you'd want to do is just have the basic science. And then that would be like the first half of the session. And then the second half would be, what can you do? What kind of trees can you plant? What would be the impact that you personally could make? And is our impact local or is it global?
Yeah, and so maybe a couple levels there. What can I do as a landowner?
Right.
What can Underhill do?
As good.
And then
I as a landowner,
what's the bigger picture?
yeah. And what can Underhill do as a town?
And if I'm not a landowner, is there a way that I can help?
Oh, that's a good idea too. Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of people who live in Underhill though that are not landowners, right?
But well, there
If
could
you've got
be.
2
Yeah.
acres,
Yeah.
But
looking in the forest.
we have 10 acres.
It's sort of.
We have a forest.
Are you thinking of sort of the concept of you can buy, even though you don't have solar panels, you can buy in a solar farm? That kind of an idea.
Oh, well, I was thinking specifically around
Any trees?
Trees. Yeah, but that's.
carbon offsets. And, I mean, I think people should be compensated for not emitting rather than you can emit
if you pay extra and somebody else will cover for you.
Yeah, the
I
offsets
don't-
are kind of weird. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, so
How should we, and maybe I'm asking the question you were about to ask, how should we market it? Like, what do we call the presentation?
What's the name? What would be the one sentence that explains it?
yeah, I'll ask
Mhm.
Ally
Okay,
to
yep.
provide the title that she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll communicate with her about our questions and topics and see what she wants to call it.
I have a question. Do we want to invite our children or high school or middle school kids? I don't know.
Yeah, beyond the usual front porch forum posts and those announcements.
Well, what is this targeted to landowners or is this targeted to all residents of
Public.
Underhill? Yes, okay. So, given that, how do we talk to all the residents?
I
And
think middle school and high school really would be a good audience as well as.
Yeah, it seems like and I'm not familiar with the high school, but it seems like there is an environmental club at the high school, and maybe we could specifically email those people.
Yes, I know the person in charge.
Would you want to email them since you're familiar?
excellent.
So I'll get a title from Ally and I did send out her bio. Would be good to include. What do we want to do besides front porch forum?
Oh, for advertising?
I could do a poster, but I'd need all this information to put in the poster. So I'd need the name,
Yeah.
the overview of what it is, who's invited, who's appropriate. If there's questions, who do they call? The time, location.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can. Yeah, she's got a good photo from the extension website. I'll make sure that that's okay to use.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The other thing is we might be able to, in terms of, well, that would be maybe more people than we can take on. But Ethan posts and that actually covers also posts presentations on yeah.
Okay.
So that might be if you're making a yeah. Lisa, so it would be Lisa Sassville. And then maybe Ethan would post that too. Oh, and then the other one is the Vermont Association of Woodlands. They'd also be promoting it. Perhaps people would come. I mean, and would we want to also do a simultaneous, I don't know if we can do it, recording of it. Oh, I know that you have to actually use a video camera for.
Oh, we could have what's her name come and videotape it.
Ruth Miller.
And it's called.
Huh?
And it's called.
Community TV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
TV.
What's the woman's name?
Well, Ruth Miller does a lot of recordings, but yeah, is it Alexandra? Oh, it's not. I know who you. Angelica.
Yeah.
Yeah. She might want to do that. She would love to do that. I'm sure.
I'm sure she would.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I get in touch with her?
I think that's just through the Mount Mansfield, yeah, TV. And if not, I'll ask Brad what her name is and best way to get in touch with her. Yeah.
So Coverts, Ethan's, Woodland,
Yeah. And then my other list that seems to work is I have a list of women in Underhill that do a lot of activities.
and Mountain Moms.
Yes, I put it out to them, and sometimes I think a lot of them came for Ethan's talk that time. Yeah, so that would be very interesting, and that would start a conversation, and then it would be good, and hopefully members from the Planning Commission, because then they will have that opportunity to learn that it's not just a forest; it's more than a forest, or we all will. I mean, it's special. I think that would be good. Okay. And then,
Is there anybody specifically on the planning commission that I should reach out to?
yeah, the chair, perhaps, and I know also, Sandy Wilmot, yeah, she would be a good person to reach out to, and the chair, whose name is Brian Tijan, it's Tijan. I think he's still the chair of the Planning Commission. Yeah. Maybe they will come.
I told Ally generally we get, I think a wild guess, 12 to 30 people. I know we occasionally had more, but does that sound like the right size?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We've had as many as 60 or 70 people though, right?
In a,
When we had Sue Morse.
I think it was more like, I don't know, I thought it was maybe 35, maybe 50. I don't remember. Yeah. That's good. That's good. We can say that's a great excuse. No, I don't remember. Yeah. Have you talked about did you?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So the other person that has agreed to come is Dr. Josef Gorez, and he's the person that will be talking about the jumping worms and the relationship of soil to the jumping worms, and apparently he's a really good speaker. Penny Miller has recommended him. When we initially talked, we talked about the end of March, maybe the beginning of April. So I need to, now that we have March 23rd confirmed for Ally, I'd like to present him with a couple of dates. And I'm just trying to look at the March area. So in theory, we could have one sort of towards that last week in March.
What would be the last week of March?
The 30th is the last Thursday.
Yeah, the 30th. It might be the 30th or the 6th of April. I don't know if what his time. I can give him a couple of dates. I don't know if the
This is Dr.
Gorez. Yeah.
What's his last name?
Gorres. Gorez, and it's Joseph, so that's Josef.
So he's the jumping worm guy.
Yeah, he's a professor in the plant and animal. Let's see. And it is in the.
So would we want to do that in April?
Well, or it'd have to be, I think, early April.
Oh,
I'm just going on the conversations that.
because of the timing of buying plants.
Yeah,
and gardening.
and also the buying any of the soil. If you wanted to buy soil, what you need to know before you buy your soil from somebody, if you need new soil or I think that's what he'd like to do. Early, he said audience, what's a good early spring is what he's thinking of.
Late March, early April.
Yeah, isn't that sort of early spring? Before people start, maybe into April a bit.
So we're thinking of early April.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so March is early. So early April. May would be
Too late.
no. May would be the Bird Diva.
Oh yeah, we have bird.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would the date on that be?
You know, I told her really any weekend. I haven't heard back yet. I said any weekend, early morning, Saturday or Sunday. So I'll.
Do you remember last year what month was it we went?
I think it was May 19th.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Good memory.
Sometimes.
Good.
I'm impressed. Okay. So like May 19th around there.
Mm-hmm.
So we got March, April, May. Were we going to do something with Abenakis? With Morgan, somebody?
Pat was going to look into that, and
Yeah.
and I think I can talk to him, Patrick. Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
your minutes?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say Abenaki. It says some weird
Oh.
African name.
Oh, like it auto-corrected to something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
I'm
did it?
Sorry.
Yeah.
No
I just thought that
problem.
was really funny. Oh, God.
Okay. Okay. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I see that.
Yeah. So what we should do is firm down the dates
Okay.
so that for town meeting, if we can get the dates just firmed down, we could be able to announce that. people
So
will know they're
Bird
coming
Diva
in.
would be like around May 19th, March
Well-
31st, and then April, we're trying to do Dr. Gora's.
Yeah.
And then Abenaki, we don't want to be in the summer, do we?
Maybe.
Do that in the fall?
Maybe. And actually, Betsy, what are your thoughts about Sue Morse? You think we should table that?
Yes, it feels mute.
Okay.
It feels
Yeah.
like.
Mute. It feels mute. The other one that
The Tomasi Meadow with the pollinator garden? I just have that written down here.
Tomasi Meadow with the pollinator garden. I wonder what that's.
Did we talk about building a pollinator garden?
Was that what Trinity presented? Because I think at the last meeting we mentioned that Trinity had emailed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe we could do a monarch presentation if she wants to do it.
Well, she could, or there is someone down at the Vermont Echo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ken
Vermont Echo?
McFarland. Ken McFarland.
Ken.
Bruce? No.
Ken.
Yeah, it is Ken. Okay.
Ken
Yeah.
McFarland?
Yeah, and he is an expert on monarchs, and it'd be nice to have him come. He was here 2 summers ago.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah,
So
it's Kent. Kent, is it Kent or Ken?
With a G.
Kent. Yeah.
Kent.
Yeah.
So when would we do that?
So that's summer.
I know, but late summer, early summer?
I think that's one where we find out when he's available.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
sure summer's a busy time for him. He came in August.
Yes, and I think he liked us because we have a new beetle.
You have a new beetle?
Yes, there's a there. Yes, no, there.
On
No.
Upper English Settlement, he found a beetle.
Yes, and there was a young, I think he was about 10 years old, that was so interested in the bugs and the beetles and the butterflies, and he brought one over. It was he the one? Yeah, he captured it and brought it over, and and it turns out it was one that had not been known to be in Underhill. Isn't that the way it went? Or known to be in Vermont?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to hear about that.
Well,
Oh, but that's interesting. Okay, so
no, it was a good beetle.
that's a lot of education if we can get.
Yeah.
Let's see, we get bird diva, jumping worms, Abenaki, monarchs, carbon. How many? That's Ken McFarland. Right. So that's 1,
I think we have about 5.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, and I think there's
5.
and there's another one.
Well, and then it's not really an educational event, but maybe we should start thinking about the plant sale ahead of time and
Oh my
think about
gosh.
like if we're not going to do plants this year, just have a good plan of what we want to do instead if we do anything at all. 'Cause, last year we were going for it, and then at the last minute we stopped, but it was still great. But what do we want to do this year? Because the months come up quick.
Well, it'd be
meeting in
nice to
March.
have a full-fledged plant
Yeah.
sale.
Yeah.
Well, how could we cushion it or wrap it so we could have it and then have people aware of jumping worms? Or because I swear I don't have any jumping worms in my, because I dig around a lot. I haven't seen them. You have any?
Yeah.
Not that I've seen, but I don't dig around a lot. I'm not a gardener.
I haven't seen any yet.
I haven't either, but Penny Miller has plenty.
Yeah, but didn't she get some tree from somewhere and it brought them in?
That's how it started.
I think so.
Well, she did get soil,
Oh, was it the soil?
but yeah, from different places or one place, and she doesn't know if it was there. They had been living in her woods anyway, or she brought them in on something, let's say, that she bought at
Who knows what it is? A couple years ago,
Yeah.
and the casings were
something.
around.
Yeah. The to go back to speakers before we talk about plant sale, the other one that was proposed by Val Story, who's on the Planning Commission, but she's also on the Natural Resources Mapping Commission,
Right.
committee, and she had heard Kevin Martin talk about the big trees of northern New England. And she thought he would be be quite a focus on trees, carbon sequestration and everything. But this would be, and it could be for the fall, but it'd be talking about the history of trees, their care and management, and importance to wildlife.
Wow.
And he's from New Hampshire, but he could hopefully highlight the trees over here. I haven't spoken with him.
What's his name?
His name is Kevin Martin.
Kevin Martin.
Yeah. He might be someone else as a presenter.
Okay.
If we need someone maybe for the fall or early fall. But, yeah. All right. So, Laurie, let's get back to plant sale. If we have one, or if and how.
I don't know. I don't have anything to share or any thoughts, but it just comes up quick with only 3 meetings left until June. So.
Yeah. I think that's something we should talk about probably in
Next meeting?
next meeting or now that we're thinking about it. I was thinking about it today and wondering if we should be having that. That came up in a
Has
mental.
anything changed since the decision was made last year to cancel?
We didn't really cancel though.
Yeah.
We what did we do? We had 2 rows of plants.
We decided to limit it to house plants, and then a lot of people brought their own diggings. So we let people, we didn't sell them, but if people, other
Could
people,
list them.
yeah, swapping them. That's what we did. Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's a good memory. I forgot.
ecologically, nothing's changed, and we should assume it's worse.
But I think if we have Dr. Boris in April, that might help us in a decision.
Seems like after hearing the April piece, we'd know better whether
Yeah.
or not to go ahead with a real plant sale. And
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe we could have Dr. Gora's sometime before the April meeting, so that we can get a jump start on what we're
So
thinking.
late March.
Because we'll meet April, the second Monday?
Yeah, so it's but it's
The 10th?
the 10th. Well,
April
yeah,
10th?
maybe he can come that first week
Yeah.
in April or the last week in March.
Mhm.
Yeah, and see, hopefully, he's on an academic schedule, but I think that would be probably okay. It's not final exams or anything for him, but I'll ask him. And good, right.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and I'll email him tomorrow. I'm going to put that on my to-do list to do tomorrow. And, yeah. And then the other one is the Green Up Day, and how much of a role do we really want to have with that? Last year.
Something that runs itself.
Well, it does, except last year was a little bit different in that we had sort of a town celebration at the town garage.
That was kind of cool.
And a barbecue, and the rec committee gave tours on the trails at Crane Brook, and some people took the tours to see what was there. And there were a lot of kids. And I don't know if they were children of the rec committee or they showed up with their parents dropping off their, what they had, bless you, what they had picked up in their baggies. So I don't know I know that we can talk about that at the next meeting too. So that's just on the list. And then, okay, so what we'll have next, I just want to put this, so points there, Green Up, our reporting out, and review of the video. Okay, so that's sort of our part of revisioning what the Conservation Commission is going to be doing.
is Green Up Day always the first Saturday in June? Should we?
In May.
In May?
Yeah.
So that's May 6th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then
The plant sale is always the first weekend in June, right?
Right.
What's that date?
that is the 3rd.
June 3rd.
So we can, but it would be good to listen to Dr. Boris and have that kind of that under our belts before.
And we can make a more educated decision.
Yes. Yes. And then I think for us, and I mean, it'll be open to anybody. I think it would be really nice to have Jens Hilke come and talk about conservation commissions and sort of moving to the next level of conserving and how and education about conserving land. I think that might be something.
Yeah,
we would,
like how do we go about identifying land that could be donated? How do we, because we need, do we have a town forest? No. If you look at, the Irish settlement, the sheep farm, the Martins, that land is in the trust. But what if they were to donate that land to us, to the town of Underhill?
Well, they haven't done that. I mean,
No, I know
it's a
that
working
sometimes you have
farm.
Well, it is. Dave Martin is the working farm,
Yeah.
and he's can't hear anymore. He's close to 80.
Well, it's a really important topic. It's a part of Conservation Commission
Right.
work that we haven't tackled since I've been on.
Right.
It's in the Crane Brook initial documents that work should be done to add to
Add parcels to it.
to those parcels. I think that it seems to me that personal outreach one-to-one with landowners is probably the most effective
Right.
thing to do. It might be interesting to have a public program that might include landowners who have conserved in town so they can share their experience, and land trust people and JULT and
Yeah.
I know that Jens is very willing to, and Karen probably knows this too, to really help us move forward.
Yeah.
Do we want to have him come to the next? Well,
No, he can't come to the next one.
no.
Well, I mean, he could, but that would be the first weekend. What, in terms of organizing, would we rather do this?
No,
and
let's
maybe
do that
have him
first.
come to the
And
next
have him
one,
come in the fall or the winter.
or one of the next meetings. I'm just saying, could be. Okay, so March is the first one after town meeting. Then it could be the April meeting. You could come.
Maybe if we, sorry,
Yeah.
maybe
No.
if we had a chance to sort of look through and rethink our goals, and he could come and we do that sort of thing at our next meeting. Maybe he could come in April and jumpstart us a bit with new ideas
Yes.
that we've sort of pigeonholed.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So next meeting we'll focus on what the goals might be, and then we'll have him come and thereafter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you want me to, I'd be happy to be in touch with him and ask him to come to our April meeting.
Okay.
If that fits.
And actually, that would be good planning because I think his slots, his time fills up, so that would be good.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys will have finished your training by then, so we'll be on a Monday night.
We finished our training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you'd done that. Both.
Yes. It was three Monday nights in a row.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty hard because you had a lot of reading to do, and I was right on the first reading, The second one, it's a lot of reading. It was good.
It's hard to be online too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I never connect the same way that I do as when I'm like there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get put in some breakout room and have a awkward conversation online.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, that is true. I felt that. We had to work, divide up into groups
Oh, wow.
online.
Was it interesting material?
So
Helpful?
it's interesting to hear from like you know, people in other towns that are experiencing, you know, the same but also different conservation related
Mm, Yeah.
problems and things.
Yeah. And it wasn't only conservation, there were planning commission people there from different planning commissions.
Oh,
Actually,
okay, good.
yeah, about a third of them were from planning commissions, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting because they wanted to know how to move forward with their conservation efforts.
Oh,
Yeah.
so people are really keen on this business of conserving.
Yeah. I think some of the planning, like in folks from Shelburne and Moortown and Warren, and I don't think there was anyone from Stowe on it, but they were very gung ho on. They were planners that really wanted a place for conservation in their towns. Yeah,
Super.
yeah. So that's good. Okay, so at this point, I think we've talked about educational events. We don't have any others. And the next thing is town meeting planning. First, a couple things. First, so Lori and Amy's times or positions were up, and as of the town meeting, and I contacted both Lori and Amy, and Lori wants to re-up us, and then Amy would like to volunteer but not re-up. Is that correct? Yes.
Okay.
So I want to thank Amy for being on the Conservation Commission, but also looking forward to her continuing as a volunteer. Yeah. Yes, and thank Lori for re-upping for her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So that's, and so what I will do, Lori, is forward your name again to be reappointed. And then I believe Trinity wants to be on. And that's, but that would still leave us with wanting or needing to recruit. And Amy thinks you might, I think you said that in an email, you might be able to recruit and find
I will
someone.
try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if others of us think of some folks that might be interested, it'd be good. Yeah. So, but I will forward on those names. And
What date is the town meeting?
is it March 9th? Let me see here. I have to, I'm wedded to,
7th? Tuesday, March 7th?
yeah, I'm wedded to my cell phone now. I can't, I always have to look at it to consult it, even on a calendar. Yeah, it would be March 7th, which is the first Tuesday of the month. So, but I will forward names for that. And then when we come back on that day, we'll vote for who wants to be chair, vice chair, secretary, do all that.
When you say when we come back, you mean after that, like the next meeting, or?
At our meeting,
Okay.
yeah.
Is there anything we're going to do at town meeting day, like have a display again, or?
Well, that's the next question. Sherry wanted to know if we needed a table for a display. And that's what we really need to talk about. Do we want to do a display? And if we do it with, what do we want to do it with? I'm looking at Betsy this way. Oh, I guess I should look at her this way. I don't know where to look. No. So I think it would be that gives us only about a month to really get it together.
Less than that,
Yeah.
3 weeks.
So I know the history is having one. I don't know if planning is or not. There were a bunch that. Oh, I know the energy committee is going to have something.
If we had a table and we had a big, display about conservation land, what are your ideas? Could you volunteer land, or would you consider something? I don't know what it would be, but just something like that as we move to the next level of conservation commission. I don't know what else, and then we'd want some flyers with our education. We'd want a flyer with our education schedule.
Well, we can put down what we're having, but I don't know that we're going to have the dates all firmed up. We may.
Right.
With Kent McFarland, I sort of don't think we'll have the date firmed up, but that takes a little bit of
Right.
energy.
We could
I
have a
could
list.
imagine bringing a card table, not a big table, but a card table, and I could check with Nancy
Okay.
and
Okay.
see if she still has the backdrop and adapt that with.
Oh.
But we've got lots of educational information, as Daphne mentioned, ticks, and what I'm trying to suggest is March 7th. That's pretty close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's 3
but
weeks.
we do have the brochures, the jumping worms, the ticks,
Yeah.
the
And
poison parsnip. Do you have enough of those?
oh, I have lots. I have a whole
Oh,
box.
okay.
And I could do a little poster or something to similar to what our goal, we won't have had a meetings between now and then, will we?
No. So, but we can work on what conservation,
I'd be happy to make, and if you guys agree, make a little poster about like recruiting, like I don't know how we want to word it, but like recruiting other members, maybe. Because it seems like, Amy, if you're not renewing your term, right, then we have only 5 people, 6 people.
we will have.
There's
No, there are 7 of
Or
us, and well, would be nice to have 2 more.
yeah.
And yes, because right now there are 7.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody comes, so that would be nice. I think it'd be really nice too to have some photos of if we had some, like what happened last year. We had a tree, so Ethan with the trees, and even the plant sale that we have some photos of that.
Yep.
You have
Or Diva?
yeah, Bird Diva, just a few
Yeah.
collage of those kind of things, if that's possible.
Yeah.
okay.
I-
If someone gets photographs to me, that would be great, and I'll put together a little bit about what our goals, and if Lori wants to do a little bit that I could add about membership or volunteerism. And I don't mind bringing card table, if that fits, or, I mean, those tables are huge. Maybe we need one of those tables. Shall I ask Sherry for a table?
Well, I can ask her because I
Okay.
told her I'd get back to her
Okay.
tomorrow,
Mhm.
so I can do
So
that.
we'll get a large
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to be there and talk to people.
Yeah, and we can have like a map of Crane Brook. I'm just looking up,
A
you
map of
know,
Crane Brook,
Laurie
yeah.
has put wonderful photos on the Underhill Conservation Instagram site.
Oh,
And they're
super.
yeah, so they're really beautiful, but you know, a great sign of Crane Brook. There's one of the mountain with snow on it. And the map would be wonderful too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you even put a green update.
That's right. Gotta
that's good.
advertise.
Yeah, so that's very nice.
Betsy, do you have a trifold, or is that what you were thinking Nancy might have?
I think Nancy has it, and if not, do those things come from Staples pretty much?
Yeah.
If I had to start, I might have to start from scratch because that one's been used about 3 or 4 years.
I could get the trifold too, and we could make that
Super.
happen. Yeah.
You can get the trifold.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Good.
You know,
Oh,
science teacher has
Right.
some science fair materials kicking around.
good. Good. Okay.
So, maybe we could put a timing on by when to collect all that information.
Yeah.
Within a week's time, maybe?
Yeah.
Mm.
Does that
Yeah.
fit?
Have the guest speaker stuff together by next week.
You know, we could
Okay,
just
good.
have one sheet, you know, coming education and the ones with dates. Like I think we talked about 5 or 6 different items.
Yeah.
You know, coming education or watch for this.
Yeah, that'll be, and even if we don't have a firm date on something, we know that they're coming. I think I'm going to have Dr. Gorse's firm date for sure. It'll be a TBA. And we could also add the big tree contest again. That is we co-sponsor that. So that would be.
Is that Sandy?
Well, Sandy, yes.
The big tree contest.
The beach, yeah. And it started, I think that it's, there was a soft kickoff, and we're going to leave it open because originally we were going to close it by now, but now we think we're going to leave it open and have it go for a little bit longer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do they have a table or the
Sandy hasn't.
natural resources inventory?
No, we have not.
Because maybe we could kind of team up and then have flyers for people to take, or you know, like with the how to measure your big tree.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have and we do have. You've seen those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can get copies of those for them. Yeah.
So
Good. Wow. Wasn't sure what we were going to have for materials for the table, but
I think it's really important that we have a presence there, don't you all?
yes.
absolutely. And I'll man the booth, or we can take turns or whatever.
Yeah.
Just on a side note, is the business with the plan with the rec committee in our court or their court as far as the select board okaying our grand plan or our mission or whatever it's called? I forget what it's called.
What you mean, the working together with them?
The district management plan.
Yeah. I think it's in both of our court, and we're going to be using it for something else. They were quite busy with the skating rink and everything right now, and I thought, well, then a good time to meet with them would be either March or April, and so I can schedule a time with them, which I said I would do. But maybe it'll have to be a night that one of their meeting nights.
Yeah,
'Cause right now we sort of need our other nights to do our other things.
right.
So, yeah, so we'll see if we can meet on one of their nights. Them for the management plan, because we have to do that periodically.
Yeah.
And I'll just get in touch with Anton. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up, Betsy. Good. Okay, so approval of minutes. Did people have a chance to read the minutes? Which,
Yes.
yes, they're always really good.
I made a couple
Yeah.
comments there.
Yeah, I think I sent back a couple things. They were no big deal.
Yeah, can we discuss or do we need to make a motion first or what?
Yeah. Okay. So, is there a motion to accept the minutes from January 9th,
Yes.
2023? I need a motion.
So moved.
Okay. And a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. Is there discussion about the minutes?
You got the Abenaki, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So changes. Yeah. The autocorrect. Yes.
Yeah, spelling. So actually, do you know what is the name of Patrick's group? Because I wrote like just the Abenaki group will present, but what is it specifically in,
I
in
think-
Burlington?
Wait a minute.
I think he calls it.
I might have it in my note.
It's either the Awanaki. Is that what he's
Okay.
saying? I'll have to look up this if it's Awanaki.
I don't have it. I thought I might have it.
I'll. A minute. I'll look. It's. I think.
ALNOBAIWI.
Yeah.
Is that-
Yep. Is that what I had
and that's-
before that
maybe that's what was in
we
there.
thought
Yes.
was
Yes.
What is it?
It's ALNOBAIWI.
yeah.
And maybe we ought to put in parentheses though Abenaki because
Right.
people are not going to necessarily.
Yeah.
Is
And
it? Is
I
that
don't
like a?
remember typing that, so I must have asked for spelling. But okay, so yes.
And then put in parens Abenaki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the Vermont Indigenous Heritage Center.
Yeah.
Would be helpful too. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will add that. Thank you. All set. I got the spelling.
Are there other changes to the minutes?
Nice.
Spelling on Ali Kasiba's name.
Oh, yeah.
Title.
Yeah. So I fixed a few spelling errors and wording.
Yeah. Well, I think also there was some change, like in there's some in green is blue. Is that me doing that, or is that somebody else making changes?
So I put the action items in blue
Oh,
so
I
that they
see.
stand out.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then let's see.
Oh, and it would be Kent McFarland. That's
Okay.
the other.
With a T.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. Other comments too? Or do you want to take a minute to continue to read this? Okay. No other comments? Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes from January 9th, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There are no nays. The ayes have it. Okay, thank you for that. And then if there are no further comments, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move.
What? Oh,
Well,
Betsy, comment. Okay.
I have a comment. I just want to send out big thanks to Amy for hanging in there and bringing her wise insights to the work. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Amy.
thank you very much.
I'm not going to disappear.
We hope not. Yes, thank you very much.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I
I
second.
second it. Oh, I can't. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The meeting is officially adjourned, and we will